Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today with Dean Winter, who's the managing director of Swire Hotels. Now, what's Swire Hotels? We're going to find out about that. Many of us know it in the industry, and today we're going to talk about East Hotels, and you'll find out about what's going on with that property, those group of properties, and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Dean, how are you? It's great to see you. I think you're down in Miami, correct?
That's right, James. Yeah, good to see you again. Yeah, down here for an event. It's always good to be in this part of the world.
Yeah, well, and the event was actually your rebranding and reconcept of luxury actually at at East Hotel Miami. And
Yeah.
first of all, let's backtrack a little bit just to remind us of what Swire Hotels is.
Well, we're a subsidiary of one of the largest real estate developers in Hong Kong, and that's our hometown. And about 16 years ago, we were started as a kind of in-house management company to sort of look into managing the sort of future pipeline that the group were developing under our own brand, and we actually developed two brands: the House Collective, which is our sort of premium, sort of upper upscale, if you like, a small collection of premium hotels. We have four of those, and then the East Hotels, which the first one was in Hong Kong in 2010,
Hmm.
and Beijing in 2012, and then most recently here in Miami in 2016. So yeah, it's been a slow evolution of our business. But about 4 years ago, we were given a mandate to sort of grow the brands with other developers outside of the Swire Group. So we've been busy doing that, and then of course COVID came. So we've got an ambitious pipeline to go after with other developers, although selective in nature. But
Right.
that's our strategy.
Well, you have three East hotel properties now with more on the way. And
Mm.
I will say I've been to East in Miami. It's a wonderful property. It was a while ago,
Yeah.
but when it first opened, but it really is a beautiful place.
Mm.
So congratulations on that, and I hope you're going to get a lot more. But the big news today, and I think that's what you were celebrating last night,
Yeah.
is that East Hotels has undergone a rebranding to really better meet the needs and lifestyles of sort of younger global travelers. And
Mm.
first of all, let's ask you first of all, what are those needs and lifestyle choices, and how does the rebrand address this?
Well, I think fundamentally the lines between business travel, leisure travel, and other travel, have become really blurred over the last few years. COVID, of course, being playing a big role in that, and people's needs for traveling have changed, and the sort of predefined concept of a business hotel or a leisure hotel, we think is probably no longer relevant. So we've sort of identified through talking to clients that there is this need to stay in places that are more accessible, less formal. You can arrive without feeling that you're being judged. The hotel has a strong connection to its neighborhood, has a strong SD value focus, and also accommodates people's needs in terms of what they want to do in their spare time during their stay, whether that's the arts or whether that's um, sport and leisure, etc. So we clearly see that there are those needs of the younger travelers, whether they're there on leisure or business or a hybrid of both reasons.
Now, indeed, you've gone a step further, and you are kind of reinventing the concept of luxury. You call it alt luxury. What is that concept? You mentioned a little bit about it,
Yeah.
and why is it different from luxury?
Well, I think again, I think people seen having the benefit of seeing these two brands evolve over a relatively short time, that we were seeing that House Collective guests were choosing to stay at or an East hotel guest were choosing to stay at a house, and we felt we could see that there were reasons for wanting to feel the sort of fuss and the love and all the attention that you get when you stay in a House Collective hotel, which you're paying through the rate and so on. But there are moments where you feel that you don't want that kind of experience. You want to go somewhere that's equally quality, got all the nice touches and all the great service, but you're not fussed over, you're not judged, you're kind of left alone to do what you're there to do, whether that's a meeting or seeing family and friends. And it's important that you're given that space to do that. So it's luxury, but it's an alternative way of kind of experiencing the luxury. And it's an environment where you're still appreciating that the hotel has a strong SD value. You can arrive in your flip-flops and your shorts and your BMW, and you're not being judged. If you were to arrive that way, perhaps in a House Collective hotel, you might be judged, you might be looked at in a certain way. But at least, all bets are off, and you can really be yourself. That's really the concept.
So I'll give you an example. When years and years ago, when I arrived at the Ritz in London, and I had been traveling all day, and I looked like, someone
Well,
that the cat just brought in, and they looked at me and they got me in the room and they said to me, and I was having tea later in the afternoon. He said, "You do know, of course, that you have to dress for tea." And I said, "Yes, I know. Thank you very much."
yeah.
So
Well,
they were making a judgment right there, right?
that's precisely the judgment we're talking about. And I have to add, though, quickly that, obviously the House Collective hotels are not the formal Ritz London kind of experience, but nevertheless, I think there is that judgment that's sort of inherent within those premium hotels, and at least that's not the case.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, because obviously key to this concept and key to luxury overall is service and how the staff interacts with guests. What will this new concept mean for the East Hotel staff? Does this change how they interact with guests?
Well, yes and no. I think it's always been part of our DNA to be very sort of fresh and crisp, and to treat each day and each guest differently, and embrace those challenges that brings. And I think that we've got to where we are, not because of this brand change, but over the last 16 years of actually delivering really sort of refreshing, spontaneous service, and encouraging our colleagues to really be themselves and be those memorable people for guests, and not reading from a script and all of that. So that's really our sort of foundation. That's our DNA. And what this brand shift has given is really the opportunity to focus in on these pillars, on these needs, as you say, around being able to sort of talk freely about what customers want to know about what's our SD
Right.
position, what's our waste separation policy, for example. What are we doing within the community to support those people, and sort of NGOs and so on, and then being able to have those conversations with guests more freely, more openly. Guests want to know, and also colleagues want to talk about it. So, and then there's obviously the whole kind of art scene and
Right.
music scene, which we've always had a sort of strong part of our programming. Last night, case in point, was wonderful. Some of the art installations that we had, and we had dancers and music and so on. And so this sort of alternative thinker crowd that we're appealing to, whether it's young local musicians, young creative types, photographers, artists, fashion designers. These are all people that we're able to connect with through the community, and therefore the team are able to build relationships with these people in our community, and introduce them to our clients, and offer opportunities for our clients to go and experience these artistic elements within the neighborhood.
Well,
And
you mentioned alternative thinkers. Let's talk a little bit about that concept. These are the guests, and what is a guest who is an alternative thinker like?
Well, I think again, it's how it comes back to this blurred lines. It's how guests, why are guests traveling? What are their needs when they're traveling, and how do they want to engage with the hotel? I think these are the questions that we've asked ourselves over the last few years. And these alternative thinkers are photographers that, for example, that would have a particular kind of genre that they're focusing on, and have certain projects that they're working on, say in Hong Kong, which would demand a certain type of preparation and introductions to certain sources, and and then we're there to be that solution for them, and also artists, young jamming musicians that get together on a regular basis
Mhm.
to freestyle their music tastes, and again, they come to our hotel to do that, and are open to our guests going to visit them in their studios and so on. And again, it's something else for the staff to talk about.
Right.
We've also got this wonderful group of what we call the Midnight Runners, who this kind of really interesting group of people that sort of that they're in this running club that meet on a regular basis. We had one of our first brunch run sessions with this group of people just a couple of weeks ago, which was incredible in Hong Kong. And again, the hotel wants to be that pillar of the community where these like-minded people would meet on a regular basis, do what they love to do, and then dine, drink, socialize, meet, and have fun at the hotel, seeing the hotel as that beacon in the
Right.
community, which and then when overseas travelers come, they just breathe all that in. That's what we're trying to provide, is this opportunity for our overseas visitors to really experience what these hotels are within their communities.
So you're basically taking it for years. We've been having a trend towards more hotels being more reflect the locale, the location, whether that's in decor, whether that's in dining, whatever. But you've taken the next step kind of to reflect community and things like that, it sounds like.
Precisely. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right.
So, is there any physical change to the hotel because of this branding, except for I think you have a new logo and things like
We have
that?
a new logo, which we're really, really proud of. I think, well, we're taking the opportunity in Hong Kong, for example, to, we're now 15 years old, and we're making some changes to the lobby. We've made some changes to the driveway, which we probably would have made anyway, frankly. But because of the rebrand, we've had an
Right.
opportunity to introduce different elements of that. But essentially, no. I mean, the guest rooms are the guest rooms. We've always sort of kept on
Mhm.
top of, renovations and so on, and very in terms of the product as it is, it's still East. There was a kind of playful, multicolored orange kind of vibe within the previous brand,
Right.
which we're sort of playing down and making it feel a little bit more sophisticated, I think is probably fair to say,
Mhm.
and bringing the brand closer to the House Collective uh, image through the logo initially. It's that circular look, and also through the color scheme to be less loud, less shouty,
Right.
uh, and a little bit more humble and sophisticated in our approach, recognizing as well that that's what our customers want. They probably have done that kind of loud, multicolored, sort of playful thing, and now they're looking for something that is a little bit more refined.
So alt luxury doesn't mean it isn't sophisticated.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It's true. I think yeah, we've when we talk about sophistication, that's something that's an adjective we've used a lot with the House Collective brand, and less so with East. But certainly the colors are certainly more humble, put it that way.
And of course, I think there's one other thing about alt luxury and about this is that it also is supposed to reflect what your guests' view of hospitality and luxury,
Yeah.
what they think about it. I know these days we're concerned about diversity, equity,
Right.
inclusion,
Right.
uh, and being good to the planet, of course, sustainability,
Right.
which is, everyone has to focus on that. So would you would agree that that's what also this concept is doing as well?
Completely, completely. I think, but again, without wanting to sound glib, we've kind of always done that. I think
Yeah.
that's been part of our DNA, certainly on the D&I piece and the SD piece, and that's they are kind of core values of our owning company as well. So it's always been there. But I think this, and again, we're not kind of walking around beating our chest saying this is our SD
Mhm.
philosophy, this is our SD. It's there, it's woven into what we do every day. We believe it, the staff believe it, and we don't feel we need to shout about it. And we've got the answers when asked, of course. But what we're doing in the background is really meaningful, and the outreach we're doing through being a player in the community and inviting a strong diversification through our workforce as well is
Yeah.
something that we've always done that. So it's just a new way of talking about it, I guess, is what it comes down to.
Or at least conceptualizing it and I mean, I hate to say it's not formalizing it because I don't think that's the goal.
Right.
But it is clearly something. But now I have to tell you, when I was, if I recall, when I was at East, the staff was warm, friendly, very, they were not your formal. It wasn't the Ritz, put it that way.
It's not.
It wasn't the same kind of interaction that I had. I like it personally, even though, I'm not one of the new breed of travelers. I'm one of the old breed, but some of us like that too.
Well, I can tell you, James, that being in the lobby last night in before this party started, we were saying exactly that. That we had all kinds of people, all generations, all nationalities, colors, and creeds coming through the door, and the hotel, didn't feel like a hotel. It
Yeah.
felt like a gallery. It felt like a party. It was all the staff, of course, don't really have a uniform. They wear their own clothes. They look amazing. And I think that really sets the tone, not just last night, but every night, in terms of how the hotel makes you feel when you arrive, and you do feel that you're arriving in a different kind of place. And that's a kind of philosophy that we're hanging on to, is you arrive in a different place. You arrive like in somewhere that is really surprising in a good way.
Well, given that you're in Miami and Hong Kong and Beijing, those are three very hot, stylish cities that where this kind of community can come together. So
Right.
that's the other thing, is you're really in three of the hottest cities for that kind of style and the attitude, I think, isn't it? Would you
Absolutely
agree?
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And we want to do more, which I know is a question you're probably going to ask me, but
Well, the next one is, you want to do more. Where is next, or can't you say quite yet?
well, there's some we can talk about, and some we can't. I can't really be too specific about locations, but we've obviously we're in Hong Kong. We've got a strong mainland China sort of strategy, and we've got lots of opportunity in the Chinese mainland. We've got a new East hotel that's being developed in Beijing, as part of the sort of evolution of that mixed use development where the current hotel is. Um, and we've got other opportunities in the Chinese mainland, from the west part of the country through to cities like Xiamen, which are really interesting from both a leisure and cultural perspective. We've got letters of intent signed with properties in Australia and in Tokyo. So definitely focusing on the Chinese mainland and that sort of Asia Pacific corridor at the moment. But also the team are active on this side of the Pacific as well. Talking to other
Right.
developers about doing hotels in other US cities. So we would love to be able to do something on the East Coast, elsewhere, and perhaps West Coast and Chicago, maybe. Who knows?
Well, I got to tell you, it is challenging in New York to come here to find a good hotel that you can use, either new build or turn something into it. But we do need you here, right? There are some new hotels that open, but boy, the amount of development here isn't quite the same as I see as places like London or Paris or Rome.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
or as you mentioned, even abroad in China and Hong Kong, we could definitely use it, and really would fit the ethos of what the brand you're trying to create.
All right. Well, I'd love to be able to talk to you more about that if the chance comes along. And next time I see you in New York, we could discuss that. I'd like your insight into.
We'll go scouting for locations, all right? And
Great idea.
then of course London, places like that. Even though I was just in London, and boy, they're opening hotels like crazy there. I tell you, it's amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that would be a great city for us to be in for sure.
Now, anything else you want to tell 125,000 travel advisors out there about East Hotels, and also the rebrand and what the future holds for the brand?
Well, I think we've said a lot. I think we're really excited about this sort of pivot, a little bit of a pivot after 15 years of being around and sort of maturing as a business, and we've got tremendous people on board that have been with us since the beginning, and we're definitely consistent in our service delivery. We're passionate about restaurants and bars. We've got some really interesting changes coming along in the short term, and obviously the new hotels will also reflect a lot of innovation in restaurants and bars, keeping it simple. One rooftop bar, a sugar, and then a sort of all-day dining, or a sort of specialty restaurant like we have here in Miami and Quinto, and great function space. And that's probably about it. We don't believe in having multiple outlets. And if we're in a mixed use situation, of course, we try to work alongside those retail players as well. So yeah, lots of innovation, lots of new locations coming up. Um, Everybody, whether they're travel advisors or their clients themselves, of course, can trust us to be consistent in our service delivery. We love feedback and perpetual improvement. So that's what we can assure you of.
No, absolutely. And I have to tell you, when I was at East Hotels a few years ago, almost right after you opened, and I did not know what was going on in downtown Miami then. You were one of the first players and first hotels of that type, really kind of cool, hip, although hip probably is not a good word anymore, right? It was a revelation to see that. And of course, now the rest of that neighborhood is really built up around you in a way. There's lots of restaurants, and it's an amazing neighborhood. It did not used to be. Where did we go if we wanted to be kind of cool and hip was to go to South Beach or something like that. But now downtown is pretty cool.
Brickell is really amazing. It really, you walk around here on a Friday and Saturday night, it's electric. It really is incredible.
Well, I have to get down there again one of these days, and I'll come by and take a look at the hotel because I got to see, I got to remind myself what it was like back then, and now it's part of the scene. That's for sure.
You'd be amazed, and you're always welcome, James.
Now, where can our travel advisors go to find out more about East Hotels? I assume just the website, right?
Yeah, we have the website. Really, that's the best. That's also, if you were to go there right now, you'd see straight away the new logo, the new color scheme, the new messaging and vocabulary around that, and a little bit about alternative thinkers. So that's www.easthotels.com. And then obviously through social with the at sign East Hotels. So yeah, plenty of ways to get to us.
Well, Dean, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you probably had a big party last night. I'm surprised you're up so early.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I'm in my age. I'm being moderate. So
yeah, I probably would have been the same if I had come down for it. But I'm sorry I missed the party. But it sounds like it was a pretty great event and a great way to kick off the brand here in the U.S.
Absolutely, it was. And listen, it would be great to catch up with you in person sometime soon. So let's keep that in mind.
Okay, come out. As I said, come up here. We'll walk around New York and see what hotels we can find that you can do. Okay.
I would love that. Okay, listen, great to see you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dean. And I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.